If you own a smartphone, you may think that a 4-digit passcode is enough to protect your device from hackers. But a new study has warned that the heat from your fingertips can be used to crack your password, up to a minute after you type it. Researchers from the University of Glasgow have demonstrated how hackers can use thermal cameras to retrace the password you've typed into a smartphone, computer keyboard, or even an ATM. Researchers from the University of Glasgow have demonstrated how hackers can use thermal cameras to retrace the password you've typed into a smartphone, computer keyboard, or even an ATM. Pictured. Mohammed Khamis, who led the development of a password-cracking thermal camera. Thermal attacks can occur after users type their password on a keyboard, smartphone screen or keypad. Before leaving the device unguarded, a passerby equipped with a thermal camera can take a picture that reveals the heat signature of where their fingers have touched the device. With the brighter an area appears, the more recently it had been touched. By measuring the relative intensity of the warmer areas, researchers found it was possible to determine the specific letters, numbers of symbols that make up the password and estimate the order in which they were used. In the study, the researchers developed an AI system called Thermos Secure that can retrace recently typed passwords from thermal images. Some 86% of passwords were cracked when thermal images were taken within 20 seconds of typing in the secret code and put through their Thermos Secure system, and 76% when within 30 seconds. Success dropped to 62% after 60 seconds of entry. They also found within 20 seconds the system was capable of successfully attacking even long passwords of 16 characters, with a rate of up to 67% correct attempts. As passwords grew shorter, success rates increased. 12-symbol passwords were guessed up to 82% of the time, 8-symbol passwords up to 93% of the time, and 6-symbol passwords were successful in 100% of attempts. Mohammed Khamis, of the Scottish University's School of Computing Science, said, "They say you need to think like a thief to catch a thief. We developed Thermo Secure by thinking carefully about how malicious actors might exploit thermal images to break into computers and smartphones. In the images captured by the heat-detecting cameras, areas appear more bright the more recently they were touched. Thermal attacks can occur after users type their password on a keyboard, smartphone screen or keypad, before leaving the device unguarded.